news is nothing new.
The sharing.
While fake news is nothing new, the internet has made it easier than ever for fake news to spread and even happen in the first place. Here's why.
That's Scary Go Round. That is by My Wicked Twin. That is off their upcoming album called Ashtray Sonatas. Hey, Bob, what's going on?
Hey, that was different.
It's a pretty cool video, eh?
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Definitely a lot going on in that video. Leave it to Brent to come up with something like that. Brent's got quite a history. The fellow that wrote that with his brother. They toured for many years with a metal band, Canadian metal band, and then they struck out on their own about 2008 or so with My Wicked Twin, and the two brothers are actually identical twins.
Really?
Yeah.
So
So
they tell each other apart.
well, they look different now as they're older, but when they were younger, I think they looked pretty much alike. I'm gonna grab the stuff that you put some stuff up, and you sent something to me, and you had some choice words to say about it. Do you remember that?
No.
You don't remember
I read
that?
some interesting stuff this week, though.
You did.
Yeah.
What did you read this week?
I don't remember, but it was interesting. I know that much.
Your memory is your memory going or what?
What are you talking about? One article.
You
One
sent me an
article that
you sent me an
article that said that was talking about how to social media. You know, if you're a do-it-yourself artist, and the little light bulb went off in my head, and I thought, you know, in the olden days when we crossed the prairies in schooners, you rose to the top by getting your song on the radio, right? That's how you got recognized.
right.
Well, the model has changed. Nowadays, you rise to the top via social media. So that I think you know, you got to use all those tools for that. It's like radio, you know, that's how you get noticed.
Yeah, I think that I've been, I had a lot of people reach out to me recently, and I've had some really great conversations with artists about even the use of Twitter. Some people really don't kind of get, how to use Twitter and how to maximize, maximize Twitter. So therefore, they tend not to use it, but they don't realize that there's some actual power in being able to use it. Now, like you said, you got to be careful what you put out there because you might get a lot of crazy stuff back.
Yeah.
You sent me an article. I don't know if you recall this or not. And when you sent it to me, you had some choice words to say about it. Do you remember
I
that?
did.
Yeah, you
Do you
did.
have the article?
Yeah, and I'm just gonna. Oh God, where is it? Hang on a second.
Were you ready for tonight's show, Ken?
I
You
was
were
ready
not,
for
were you?
tonight. I know I was
You
ready
were
for
inside
tonight's
the
show.
house eating dinner. That's what you were doing.
No, my underwear were hanging out of my pants, and I had to pull them down, tuck them back in. You sent me this article, and you said, money laundering is all the music industry is. These fucks should be serving time in prison. Do you remember saying that to me?
Yeah, because there's so much in missing royalties. The process has got, you know, as far as licensing your music and registering with the pros, and they are so inefficient at what they do that billions of dollars is still unaccounted for, and I think they keep it that way so that they can launder the money.
And those are don't they call those black box royalties?
I'm not. I call it inefficient administration is what it
They
is.
kind of end up in nowhere. You sent me an article about this woman, Amy Thompson, how I'd fix the music industry in 3 easy steps.
Yeah, she seems to have her head screwed on right.
Yeah, I mean, but what I think she's really more referencing towards mainstream music. At least that's the impression that I got. She maximizes exposure for a collection of about 65,000 songs, and those 65,000 songs are cumulatively worth $2.5 billion. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. And what she's doing is through the use of social media and especially TikTok, you know, you get those artists that rise to the top very, very quickly, and then they scrape the cream of, off the top, and market that music, and that's why it's worth so much. I mean, it won't be worth anything 5 years from now.
No, and what we Ben Overbish. I love it. What we got going on? You got anything going on in the chat over there? Oh, there's Scott McCluskey says. Dun, dun, dun. I love the fucking clown show our world has devolved into. This great production represents. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is really messed up. The whole world's kind of turned on its head right now. She talks about non-disclosure agreements in the streaming payment terms of artist and songwriter contracts. Those need to have a drastic change, right? I mean, can you imagine signing a non-disclosure agreement in streaming payments in terms of artist and songwriter contracts?
No.
Crazy. And you were talking about inefficiencies that, bad data is causing. There's no doubt about that. Service and royalties, particularly at the level of service that catalog artists receive from labels, despite their records being available at the click of a button. That's kind of crazy in itself, isn't it, when you think about that one?
Yeah, for sure. It's such a bureaucracy. It's no different than any government, that just you get into the system, and then there's this gigantic maze that you got to go through, so bad that you need an attorney to guide you through the waters, and it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that inefficient.
Yeah, and one of the things that I am seeing, why is it doing that? That's so weird. Let's just go here. One of the things that I saw, or at least I keep gonna keep harping on, is this business of 60,000 songs being published every day, right? I mean, when you got that volume of music being published every day, how quickly does your music that you published yesterday become yesterday's news?
Huh? Say that again.
I said when you're publishing your song, and tomorrow somebody publishes 60,000 more songs on top of what you sent out today, your music quickly becomes yesterday's news.
Yeah. Good music doesn't. You notice how a hit will stay around. If the song is genuinely decent, that you overcome that. If you're writing mediocre material, yes, it gets buried the next day.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, though, is that when it gets published and you start pumping it out on social media, you got to pretty much keep hitting it out there, because I was talking about this with a potential client today on the phone. When you make a post on social media, it can go through the news feed pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like I look at Twitter and somebody puts out a tweet, and within, seconds, sometimes it's gone. It disappears.
Well, yeah, Twitter's got two settings for your news feed. One setting is you can default to tweets as they happen, which it just keeps refreshing, or you can default to top tweets that are getting the most attention.
Yeah, and look, I mean, obviously, look at what's trending on Facebook for sure.
Yeah,
but
I have mine defaulted to tweets as they happen, because I enjoy the fresh. If I'm on Twitter, I like to see the freshest tweets. I think the other default, the tweets that are getting the most attention, I think that's their way of driving impressions to tweets that they think should matter. And I don't agree with that. So I just keep it as they happen. That's a personal preference.
Yeah. And then, one of these things in this article that she also talks about, and about different records getting different levels of service from, whether it's from record labels or, whoever's
Yeah.
doing the promotion for the artist.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a bit of a problem in itself as well.
Yeah. That's kind of a gatekeeper's position.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have
That's what,
somebody as an artist. There's got to be somebody who's responsible for getting the music out on social media and getting the word out on social media about, what it is you're doing to attract people and obviously build a, somewhat of a organic following.
well, yeah. And, once again, it boils down to the quality of your songwriting. That's a harsh reality to deal with for any artist. But the fact of the matter is, if your song is, if your material is mediocre, it's not going to do anything.
So what do you consider to be, something that's worthy of, airplay and something that should keep trending? What kind of music would you consider to be, in the upper echelons of what should be trending?
Well, there's a bunch of stuff on my station that I think should be trending because it's genuinely great music. But and it's gotten popular. But case in point, if you look at a band called Will Dorado from Oklahoma,
Right.
they uh, have come up through the ranks. They played here in Appleton, I want to say 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, and they blew everybody away. They immediately had a very large crowd show up, and they've been building on that. But the thing is, their material, their songs are that good that they can play an hour and a half set and have every song just be thoroughly enjoyable. So I think that's kind of the bar you have to look at.
Right. And so the quality of the song, when you say quality of the song, you're talking about lyric content or the arrangement or both of them?
Oh, everything, the arrangement, the hooks, the hooks will never ever go away, and hooks will always be the thing that gets you noticed. So, rather than rebel against that, I think you have to embrace it. And if it's not your style to write hooky material, well, then that's fine too. But you're never going to get up to that next tier, I don't think. I'm painting with a broad brush here. First of all, there's always exceptions
Yep.
to the rule, but good hooks, great melody lines, and dynamics are really important too. Dynamics really help a song. The contrast really helps keep you glued to the song. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so you don't lose interest in the first 30 seconds. And Nirvana was a great example of using dynamics to hold your attention.
Yeah, definitely. There's always some change up within the song that keeps pulling people in. It's kind of like, watching a really good television show or reading a really good book where there is always some language in there that just keeps you okay. Oh, what was that they just said? Oh yeah, I've got to find out what happens next, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Will Dorado, as a matter of fact, is they've gotten well, they played on the Jimmy Kimmel Live,
okay.
and that I imagine did a whole bunch for their career.
Now, are
Uh,
they an indie band?
yeah,
Okay, so they're
oh for
not
sure.
signed. They're not signed to a label or anything like
They're
that.
signed to an independent label, which I'm
Okay.
sure will be absorbed by a larger contract. But currently, they're touring over in the UK.
Okay. Yeah,
So that's
and Europe is one of the best places to tour.
oh yeah, yeah. I wish I could load up an airplane with some bands and go over to the UK and play a bunch of dates because that is just and it's kind of weird. I'm all against government owning stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the BBC has a program called Introducing, and they play up and coming independent artists all the time. I think that's pretty admirable for the BBC to do something like that.
Yeah. We So here's an interesting aside. So this week, had an artist come on board who originally was signed with Capitol Records, and then Capitol got bought out by EMI, and then
Uh-huh.
EMI got bought out by Universal. And interesting, these guys released their very first album, was an independent release. They went to a local recording studio and recorded their very first album, and they did their own release on their very first album.
Uh-huh.
And makes you almost wonder, would they have done just as good if they had just kept doing that formula of releasing their own work and just, touring? Um, they were probably one of the first Canadian metal bands to tour Canada coast to coast on the bar circuit alone.
Uh-huh.
And I mean,
Wow.
they literally drove in vehicles from the East Coast to the West Coast, and played, 3-4 times a week in different bars all the way across the country.
Nice.
Yeah, so and so they did something really unique. You can't do that now because there's not as many venues as there were back in the day when they were, touring the bar circuit heavily. And that will probably never happen again. You'll probably never see that happen again. Although Europe still has a pretty robust touring process because, you don't have to drive very far to your next gig.
True. Yeah, everything's the bigger metropolitan area is pretty close together.
And there are so many pubs within such a short distance that you can play over there. Um,
I
that
wonder how their pay is compared to the States.
um, I think it varies, depending on what kind of following you get, right? Um, you know, I try to get a lot of our artists radio play over in Europe as well. I don't know what your listenership is from Europe. I'd surprise you wouldn't have a lot of people listening from Europe based on the type of music that you are playing on your station.
Yeah, you guys, wake the fuck up.
Yeah, so all you guys and girls over in Germany and in the UK, you might want to listen to Code Zero Radio and listen to what they're playing, because they're playing stuff that you would hear at a lot of festivals over in Europe. And the bands that are sending you music, they should seriously consider getting over to Europe to tour.
Yeah, we get a lot of submissions from the UK. We've got listeners in the UK and Finland. Most of those from Europe are in the UK and Finland, and we get a lot of artists from the UK. I would say about 60 to 75% of the submissions every week are from the UK. And as we mentioned, that one of those bands, the Mysterines from the UK, is over here in the States touring. As a matter of fact, they played Chicago last night.
Wow. Did they play a
Yeah,
big venue or smaller
I think
venue or
these are
what?
like 500 seat clubs. You know,
Okay.
that's a fairly mid-sized venue, but it's cool to see some bands that we play uh, swap. Across the pond there. That's pretty neat.
Now there's some theaters in the States that do small concerts as well, right?
Theaters
Yeah.
in the States.
Yeah. Are there theaters in the States where they, like 500-600 seat theaters where
Oh
people can
yeah, you know
play?
what? What a great venue. There's tons of them. Denver, Colorado, I think there's like 4 of the older theaters that converted over to concert venues. There's one in Grand Junction, Colorado that hosts a ton of great artists. But yeah, that's a very, very popular conversion, is to take an old theater and turn it into a concert venue because the acoustics are just perfect.
Yeah, they had a movie theater up in Mount Forest? Mount
Thunder
Forest.
Bay.
Not quite that far north. On the way up to Owen Sound on Highway 6, and Jeff Healey used to play there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we're not talking a massive theater, maybe 350, 400 seats.
That's
But
perfect, though.
yeah, but because it's tiered seating, right?
Right, right,
There's not a bad seat in the house, right?
right.
And so they basically just took the big stage where the screen was, and they actually kept the screen in the background and used
Oh, really?
and then used projection to put stuff behind the band, right? To put scenery and background behind the band when they were playing there.
Yeah, that's cool. I love
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah, it's kind of neat. How would you know? Like, is there something like that in every state? Would you think?
Yes, there is.
You got an
There
earwig.
is that. I know that, Minneapolis has a couple of them. I think Milwaukee has 1 or 2. Yeah, they're just extremely popular. I wish they would do that here in Appleton.
Now, are those venues, are they booked by promoters, booking agents? How does the
I think
band get
it's
to play at
I
those?
think it's in-house. Because when you're that size of a venue, you gotta be careful who you can book, right? Because obviously your financials are gonna be limited to the crowd size and ticket prices. So, there must be a booking service that, services that, size of venue. I'm not sure who, but, a brief story here. There used to be a place in Denver, Colorado called the Rainbow Music Hall. And what that was it was a 3-screen theater, and they took out the walls inside and put a stage in. So they had all the seating already in there, and they put in a really nice sound system and a really nice lighting system. And this was back in, the late 80s, right?
Okay,
Uh, but the problem was, the Barry Fay was the big promoter in Denver at the time. He was in charge of Red Rocks and all that. And so he built this theater, the Rainbow Music Theater, and he tried booking national acts through there, the big acts, the stuff that was
right.
going on at the time. Well, with 1,200 seats, you couldn't, there's no way you could pay these acts to come through. And he started running out of people to book. And after a couple of years, they closed it.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, it was a great place. What a wonderful place. I even ran lights there a couple times.
Yeah, they what they do, they have a place in London, Ontario, which is like 20 minutes north of me, and it's called the London Music Hall. You could check it out on the internet. It's kind of cool. It's got a balcony that runs all the way around from the back all the way around to the front of the
Right,
stage,
right.
and then it's got all this floor space, and they can pack a shitload of people in there.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. And I
they
bet it
had
gets
the
packed. Yeah.
they had the after party there in 2019 when I went to the Junos, and
Mhm.
it was pretty cool. It was the stage is great. They got great sound system in there, and they bring bands in there all the time. Like different bands go in there and play, and oftentimes they'll hire local indie bands to open.
That's perfect, yeah.
Sometimes they'll run a competition for it as well.
Uh-huh.
What's Rich saying here? He says no more tables covered in 10-cent draft beer at closing time anymore. Yeah, I don't think so, eh? Um, Rich is saying that folk and music clubs are a big thing in Alberta. How many seats would be in those music clubs, Rich? We did have one in London, and I believe it folded during COVID. Like COVID kind of put the nail in that one.
Code killed everything.
Yeah, COVID killed a lot of things. That's for sure. I also wanted to touch on a couple of things and whether or not you know much about this. I'm going to share this on the screen so that people can see it. This is the American Association of Independent Music, the collective voice of independent music. You ever seen this?
It's possible.
Our mission is to promote growth, awareness, and opportunities for independent music through advocacy, network, and education. And they obviously go on to explain some of that. And I don't know Oh, yeah, they just hit me up here to sign up for the freaking newsletter. No thanks. But they feature a bunch of stuff on there. I'm going to put that down below if people from the States want to look at it. And then we got a Canadian version of this called SEMA. And they've been around since 1975. They're called the Canadian Independent Music Association. And talks a little bit about, what they do, their vision through transparency, trust, and integrity. SEMA will be an advocacy leader representing the national interests of Canadian-owned independent music industry, while providing targeted services for the economic benefit of its membership. You know what? I don't know anybody that belongs to this. And if you're Canadian, you belong to SEMA. I'd like to know your thoughts on it. Nothing better than hearing from people that belong to these associations, the same as this one here, the American Association of Independent Music.
I would like to hear some success stories.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories, much the same as artists that back in the day who were forced to join the musicians union.
Yeah.
And then bar owners said, screw you, we're not going to pay you, what the union is telling us to pay you. We're going to pay you based on, we'll pay you a base the first time you come through. And back in the day, they used to say, we don't care if you bring people into the bar. We don't have any problem getting people in here. But if you can't keep them here and keep them drinking,
well, that's fair.
You won't be back to play.
That's right? Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you drive people away, you probably won't be going back.
No.
I've seen that happen many times before.
And that was the way we operated for many years when I played in, bar circuit with bands. When we negotiated our salary, we'd say, okay, we'll come in at this, but the next time we play, everybody gets a $50 bonus. Because if you bring us back, it means that we held your crowd all night long.
Yep.
And we did. And this was after the bars started staying open till 2:00 in the morning here. And we kept people right until 2:00. Sometimes, at the end of the night between the last hour the bar is open, you only have people that stay there till the ugly lights come on, right? So anyways, that I wanted to talk about those two associations tonight. Like I said, I've heard horror stories about those. Also heard horror stories about these various organizations and performance rights organizations that are supposed to be collecting royalties on behalf of artists.
Oh, that burns my ass. I get submissions all the time, and at the bottom of their submission, they have BMI, ASCAP, registered, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, why are you giving them your money when you'll never see any of that money back? You'll never see that money back.
Yeah, it's some of them, some PROs are free to join. I think there's one in the States that's free to join. It's either BMI or ASCAP. I can't remember which one. One of those two.
Probably. There's another one. I just got an email from this guy. This is interesting. Pardon me while I look away from my screen.
No problem. Go ahead.
I didn't mean to do that, kids. Oh, what the hell was this guy's name?
Rich is saying 200 to 500 people in some of these music clubs. So that's good. That's a good thing. That's a nice crowd. If you can get all those people out for live music, that's a great thing.
Fuck.
Here, you need my mug, right? You need this mug right here.
Yeah, I need that mug. Did I? I don't know if I did or not. Anyway, I was looking for alternatives to licensing.
Right.
And I came across this one site who I even sent you a link to that, I think. And you asked me if they were a record label. They weren't.
I did ask you if they were a record label, and you said no, they're not a record label, but they're a performance rights organization.
Right, and they only work with independent artists. And so if you sign with this place,
Did they charge
And
you to join?
I don't believe so. That's why I'm looking for this freaking email and I can't find it.
Oh, you know what? Hang on a second. I might have it. Oh God. I get these people trying to scam me all the time on here.
Oh yeah.
Do you get that?
Oh
They
yeah.
message you and they use a fake, they've commandeered somebody's profile and they start talking to you. And
Yeah.
then they send you this thing. Have you got your package yet? And then they send you some nefarious link and you go, fuck off, go away. Let me see, Bob.
I've
You
had my
did send me
package for a
something.
long time. Thank you.
This was a while ago you sent me that though.
Yeah, David Derryberry. That's kind of a fishy name. It's called Alltrack.
Right.
Is the PRO's thing, whatever you want to call it. And I'll even put that up here in the thing. I have no names for anything. Everything's a thing.
Investigate that. I'm going to investigate that a little bit more. I know that
so you'll get a royalty if you're registered with Alltrack.
I know I've had this conversation with this artist that just came on board with us. We are going to be uploading a catalog of something like 180 songs to our website.
One catalog?
What, like a whole catalog of music? We're talking like 18 albums worth of music.
One artist or several artists?
One artist.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, one artist. It's a whole lifetime of music, and this particular artist on when they were their music was hitting the mainstream, we're talking like 4 gold albums and 2 platinum.
What?
So yeah, I know. Hey, and so this person reached out to me through a common friend and said, you know what, I'm really tired of all this. And we took all of our content and we uploaded it using CD Baby. And he was just like not happy with the way CD Baby was performing for them or doing, or what they were doing.
I've heard that quite a bit recently about CD Baby.
Yeah, what they were doing and not doing. And at one point in time, they used to, remember CD Baby used to do CDs, right?
Right.
Well, they don't even do CDs now, so that you can't get CDs printed, so that you can go and take them to shows and stuff like it. A lot of bands still take CDs to shows, sometimes to give away or sometimes to sell at their merch tables, right?
Right.
So, they like to go with a little bit of physical copy in hand. And so really disenchanted with CD Baby and said, you know what, I know you're doing better for the artists that are working with you, because one person that you're working with already, reached out to me and said, hey, you should go, give Ken a call and talk to him. And that has brought me another half a dozen artists. It's been a busy week, man. I'm telling you.
Man, that's great though.
It is. And because we're moving our website more to streaming and downloading, much the same as you would on Spotify or iTunes or those other places, independent artists are starting to see the value of getting their music up on the website because it's all independent music. So, yeah, so it's kind of a cool thing when that stuff happens.
Definitely, that's a big push for you.
It is a big push, and I'm really grateful for it. And I mean, it's a shit ton of work, man. Let me tell you, because and it's neat because some of this music that we're going to be uploading was originally recorded on 2-inch tape.
Oh yeah.
Huh. So you can definitely hear the difference between it and the stuff that was recorded, full digital. There's a huge difference, but I'm surprised. Like the recording quality of some of this stuff is like outstanding. I'm going to send you some of the tracks so you can, if you're interested in playing them on the station, because they're well produced tracks and stuff that has probably never been played on independent radio before ever.
Huh.
So yeah, we'll be sending some of that stuff your direction and see what happens. Rich Maidenman makes a point here, and he says that some music clubs out there are nonprofit associations run out of community halls. So
that's an interesting concept.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't know why some bands couldn't sort of, local bands couldn't commandeer a community hall. A lot of community halls are actually licensed. Some of them actually have their own bartenders. So if you wanted to do licensed events, you probably could. And you could have some real cool stuff going on there, different shows and
Definitely.
whatnot.
Yeah. But,
Um,
people have to support that though,
that's
people
true.
got to show up to clubs and, they got to support that kind of stuff. They can't get too apathetic about the music scene.
No, and I think you're also, if you're going to do that kind of thing, I think it's also on whoever's promoting it to actually, do a lot of public promotion to
Yeah.
get people out to those shows. I mean, sometimes what you're actually doing is competing against clubs, like actual bars,
Yeah.
and
And you're competing against I don't know, is this a fair comparison to say you're competing against somebody's Spotify list? Because most people now, if they want to hear some music, they'll just hit their Spotify playlist. And I don't know if live music plays into that or not.
that there's an interesting question. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Because me personally, I'm a live music fan. I love live music. I absolutely love it. That's why I do this, for the live music. I can sit and listen to music all day, but man, I'm in it for the live stuff. That's just me though. I don't know. I don't know if other people are like that or not.
Well, you're fortunate where you are in Appleton, because you've got close driving distance to quite a number of clubs, right?
There's there's one right down the street. No kidding. There's a bar right down the street that has live music. There is a bar next to us that has live music. They have an open mic night every Thursday also.
So
And
do
then
you attend the open mic?
no, because I'm doing my show when they're
Oh,
having
okay,
that. So,
right.
but
And
yeah, there's a ton of places around here to play.
yeah, was that one of you? Was that one of the high points of moving to Appleton?
That was the point of moving to.
Oh, plus you don't have to deal with Frontier anymore.
Right, right. Well, there is that. A funny story though. Funny story. Yesterday, I woke up. And when I get up and I turn everything on, I have to record and upload the weather like right away before 9 o'clock. That's my first deadline. And I get up and we have no internet because it was knocked out by the storm the night before. I can't believe it.
Oh man. Is your internet there? Is it fiber optic, or how is your internet supplied there?
It's broadband. I mean, they are installing fiber, but that's 5 years down the road. But it's broadband and it's fast.
I'm waiting to get flipped over to the fiber here. Like we pretty much on a mediocre day run about 100 megabits a second. But this other stuff is supposed to be breakneck fast. Like this fiber, when they get it, they've been putting it in here all last month. They were putting it in here, so they're supposed to have it ready to go. But I haven't seen anybody come here and do the hookup yet.
Right.
And I haven't
Well,
noticed
it's
that.
amazing. It's amazing because in Iowa, if I had to upload my 2-hour show, which is like 164 megabytes, uh, it would through Frontier, it would take at least 40 minutes to
Oh my
upload the
god!
show.
Oh my god!
Here, I do it and it's done in under 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's quick.
Yeah.
That's quick. And I think mine is like, it's like not even a couple of minutes to download stuff. Today, this artist sent me 2 albums worth of music, and it downloaded like bing, and it was done.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah,
And
you're so lucky you don't have to deal with Frontier.
yeah, well, these guys never used to be that good. They used to be they're called Rogers, and we used to say that they used to bend you over and Roger you.
Take
You
a good
changed
Rogering.
good Rogering. Hey, you changed it. You changed it. Your angle.
I wanted to see the color of my face on this camera. It's not too
Right.
bad. But the color of my face on the other camera, I look like I got jaundice. I do.
Well,
At least it
I
looks like
always
that.
I always look like my face is really red, like I just came out of the sun. I was outside today in the sun, working outside all day, so I do have some color on my face, but I think it's one of the lights up here has got a lot of red in it.
Yeah. Do
And
you wear goggles when you ride your bike?
I do. You can probably see that, right?
I can definitely tell that.
Yeah, yeah. It my in the summertime, like this whole part of my face down here is like totally dark, and then when I take my helmet off, it's all this white up here. It's like, what the hell happened there? I I got 1/3 of my head is all white. So those two things, I want to hear from people about this. So if you got something to tell us about the American Association of Independent Music, and then SEMA, which is the Canadian Independent Music Association. I belong to neither one of those.
Hey,
I'm never.
real quick, click on join SEMA. The button up there.
Where is
Just
it?
do it. Upper, up.
Where the hell
up,
is? Oh, join
up. There you
SEMA.
go.
Okay, see what it says here. Welcome to SEMA's membership application page.
There you go. Membership levels. There
we
you go. That's all I wanted to see.
Step 1, review member levels. I guarantee you. Oh yeah, here we go. Class A, members with gross revenues more than $1 million annually, except distributors who must join Class B. So this again looks like it's based on sales.
Keep scrolling.
Right? I'm gonna keep scrolling.
See how much it is. Do they have prices, membership fees?
Oh, voting Class A, $2,679. Voting Class B, affiliate, it's $311. Companies based outside of Ontario who used to wish to join SEMA can join at the following rate. So if you're outside of Ontario, but if you're Ontario, look at this price for Ontario. Voting Class C. What the hell is voting Class C?
Yeah, but anytime you run up against an organization that profounds to says they represent the independent artist, the first thing I look for is membership fees, because that just means they're making a living off of your money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's interesting. For the better part of 40 years, I worked as a registered nurse, as you know, and paid, annual fees for my licensing. And I always wondered what my college was doing to further things. And all they were really doing was going after people that the general public complained about. Right? They didn't do much to further the profession as much as they did to go after people and hold kangaroo court for people who, in their eyes, screwed up.
Yeah.
Right?
Power corrupts.
Oh man, it's absolutely nuts. And yeah. I can remember, and they don't do anything to really protect people, these organizations, right? They take your money, but they're not really there to protect you.
Right. And they're there to make money.
Yeah, when we went on there, that Class B, that Class A, Class B, Class C. So you got 3 levels, 3 tiers of membership there. And if you got big bucks and you're willing to pay the big bucks for a membership fee, so you get a voting class. So what? A note to artists. What is a voting class?
What I'm envisioning is they put up the latest submissions, and then everybody who's bought voting rights votes on that submission, and that's how they rise up through the chart. I don't know, but that's what it sounds like. If you're voting.
I look at that and I go, yeah. It's the same, It's the same as, I belong to the Recording Arts and Sciences people here in Ontario and Canada, and I get to vote on the Junos. I get a vote on the Junos, and I can make nominations for Canadian Artist for Juno Awards. But the thing is that you've got to have a really powerful lobby, right? You can make all the nominations you want, but if you don't know all the people, right?
Yeah.
And you don't cross all the right people's palms and say, here's $100 as I shake their hand. I want you to vote for my artist. It's really hard to pull votes if you don't know anybody, if you're just an independent out there. And I joined really more to find out more about what the organization was all about. And I remember even when I went to the Juno Awards, it cost me like $1,000 to go.
Really?
Yeah. And
wow.
And it really wasn't, it was okay, right? But I don't think I'd ever do it again. Right. I mean, the cool thing about it was that I ended up in a hotel room at the end of the night partying with Jim Cuddy from Blue Rodeo. I don't know if you ever heard of Blue Rodeo, but they're Canadian folk country rock band. And they won a few Juno Awards and stuff like that. And Jim performed at the Junos, and I heard he was having an after party, and I met him and got to chat with him. Real cool dude.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if he remembers, if he remembers or would remember our conversation.
Yeah.
But I got to spend a good half hour chatting with them and, talking about their music and I used to listen to their stuff, and I've seen them perform live a couple of times before. So it was kind of cool, but I don't think I'd do it again.
Rodeo.
Blue Rodeo. Check them out. So let's take a look at the American Music Association. Let's see what this one. Now you got my curiosity peak. About Us. Join. Oh, A2M. A2M. Here it is. Our mission. Our meteoric market share growth is a true testament to the independent spirit. Blah, 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 blah. Member benefits, label membership, associate membership, parity for indies and deal structures. What's that parity for indies? Want to look at that? Is that a red herring? What do you think?
Yeah, you could click that join now button.
That's it. Well, okay. Parity for indies and deal structures. In addition to fighting major label distribution, streaming income diversion away from independent sound recording owners in the form of breakage. You and I talked about this. This really does exist, right? A2IM supports to guarantee that our members are receiving equitable treatment in licensing deal structures. Equitable treatment. That's like a form of discrimination, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. There it is. A2IM is a 100% dues supported organization. Are you ready to join? Join now. Here's what it is. Okay, so I'll click on join now. There we go. You've got different structures again. Associate membership, label membership, dual membership. That's like, I don't know. Oh,
but they're not going to tell you how much it is until you fill out the information.
Yeah,
which is another red flag.
Yeah, you already got to give them their email, and then you're gonna end up on their mailing list, and they'll keep bugging the shit out of you until you actually join, or tell them to go screw themselves. It doesn't really say. Does it? I don't even the About Us, if it even says anything about the About Us. Yeah, I don't see anything in there about how much it would cost to join.
And look at all the people they got to pay. Look at the payroll they got. They got to pay all those people.
The board of directors, they probably all make what? I don't know, a couple $100,000 a year.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're paying their salary.
It's kind of like the same. It's kind of like the same where record labels snafu, all the revenue away from artists because they have all these people to pay on payroll. And then the artist gets a pittance. Your balls are itchy. The interesting thing I was talking about this with an artist the other day, is about that very fact. How much money is left for the artist when it's all said and done. And I was talking about this with an artist today from Sweden. We were on a video call, and he said to me that when you look at the money that's going out to the owner of Spotify, for example.
You want to send Rich the application form for
Yeah.
the board of directors?
Hey, Rich, you want to join the board of directors, buddy? There you go. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just guessing they make $100,000, but it could be more. Might be a couple $100,000 plus perks. Maybe they get a Cadillac Escalade or something like that to go along with it. Who knows?
And a hand job.
I think the funny thing is like this. We're talking about this. The owner of Spotify makes like 2.3 or $2.4 billion a year, and the guy's never written any music, never recorded any music, doesn't know anything about music, right?
Right.
So why is this so backwards, right? And
it's because musicians are terrible businessmen. And they have been since the dawn of time. Musicians, terrible businessmen.
Here's an interesting thing. So that happened here in Canada with doctors, right? Doctors were not making, the kind of money that they thought they should have been making. I mean, you think about it. When a doctor finishes medical school, how many student loans do they have? And how much money do they owe when they graduate medical school, right?
A bunch.
Yeah, they have a ton of debt. And so they had this thing for this longest time here. You go to your family doctor, and you could present with, 3 or 4 different concerns when you see your family doctor. And then a few years ago, they came up with this new rule when you see your family doctor is you can only present with one problem at a time when you go to see your. Yeah, and it's because that's how they bill for the service, for the visit. They're only allowed to bill for one problem each time you see them. So if you go for 4 appointments in the same week for 4 different problems, they get to bill 4 times instead of 1 time for 1 problem, right?
Man.
Or 1 time for 4 problems. Yeah. So
what a racket.
The whole thing's a racket. What's Rich saying here? He says, I agree, Bob. Musicians love to play so much. They load thousands of dollars of equipment up, drive 1,000 miles, and play for free. Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons.
It's unfortunate, but I've said that before. Musicians don't make good businessmen generally, but the thing is, they shouldn't have to be. Because you want to concentrate on what you do best, and that's make music. You shouldn't have to go to law school and be able to interpret contracts. But it's a tough place to be.
It's interesting. This artist, we're going to have this artist on as a guest host one night on the show with you and I, and he's going to tell us some stories about when they were working with a major record label and some big sort of big time promoters, and how in the middle of a tour you can get screwed over by a promoter.
Oh yeah.
And
we had a promoter tried to pay us one night in a saxophone.
In a saxophone.
We played the gig. It's like, well, we want to get paid for the gig. Well, I don't have any money, but I have this really nice saxophone.
There you go. Take that down to the pawn shop.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean, unless it was owned by somebody, Clarence Clemens or somebody like that, then it might be worth something, right? There you go.
Right.
It's crazy. It is so true. It's hard to get paid. And I think COVID even screwed things up even that much more. Right. And you've got these government agencies now here in Canada who are saying, we want to help out clubs. We want to have clubs, do really, really well. Well, if you want to get clubs to do really well, then you need to maybe consider, I don't know, subsidizing.
Something like that. Yeah.
subsidizing and making sure that the subsidy goes directly to the artist, right? I had a conversation with a person that you and I both know, and I'll say that he's from Iowa, and he was telling me that performance rights organizations were going to clubs where he was playing, and they wanted to charge the club for his for him playing his own live music in the club.
Yeah, going to these small dinkhole town clubs, and they were using strong arm tactics on the club owners.
Yep. Yeah, it happened. Actually, happened. A friend of mine that owned a club here in town. He told me that SOCAN sent someone out to his club, and they wanted him to pay for the music they were playing on the jukebox in between bands.
Right, because they got to register those jukeboxes, and the jukeboxes have to report back to the PRO. Yeah, and they're threatening to shut these people down. I think they have, as a matter of fact, in several cases.
Yeah, they threatened him with legal action. He told him to screw off. Like, he basically, said, take a powder. He said, I'm not making enough money here. When you look at the overhead and the insurance costs now to run a club.
Yeah, that's expensive. I would have just pulled out a baseball bat from behind the bar and beat his fucking head in. That's a message to the rest of them. You can pick your friend up at the hospital, but he has to eat through with a straw.
Yeah, I think somehow that might have backfired, but it does make you feel like doing something like that. It does make you feel like doing something like that. But like they went to him and they tried to strong arm him. He said, like, screw you, I'm not paying for that. I'm looking at rising costs for beer and liquor. Every time the government adds a new tax to beer and liquor, that gets passed on to me. I don't get a discount for the liquor and beer that I buy. I pay the same price for the liquor and beer that you pay for when you go to the beer store or to the liquor store.
Yeah.
I don't get any discounts on it. So I've got to mark it up and make enough money off there to pay my server, to pay my, to pay the wait staff, to pay the bartender, and to pay me at the end of the night. Plus my bills, the utilities, and all the other stuff that goes along with it, right? Yeah, there's a lot of overhead. And people don't think about that. In fact, if you're here in Canada, I don't know how it works in the States, but here in Canada, if you are a club owner, you have to pay into workman's compensation for...
Yeah, they just passed that in California, to where if you hire somebody, even for the briefest amount of time, you have to pay for compensation and healthcare coverage and all that stuff. It's all nuts. They have to figure out, they have to prorate everything. But yeah, they passed that law.
And you guys got a new law in the States now. You guys are going to be paying to support this whole new Ministry of Truth thing.
No, we're not.
Whatever the hell that is.
They can try, but Ministry of Truth.
What the hell is a Ministry of Truth anyway?
Yeah, it's disinformation central is what it is.
It makes me kind of people are still shitting their pants about Elon Musk taking over Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen so many TikTok videos of people, women mostly, crying in tears, actual tears running down their face because Elon Musk is going to let conservatives back on Twitter.
Yeah, somebody already was pissy today because they said, well, if Elon Musk lets Trump back on Twitter, I'm gone, right? And I'm like, hey, see you later. I think it was funny when he was on there. I mean, there was some color commentary at least, right?
Yeah. He would tweet the stupidest shit, and people would just lost their minds,
Yeah, and people took it like it was like he was serious, right?
Yeah.
Just like the stuff Elon Musk posted, and Musk is actually proving how insane people can be when he says, "I'm going to buy Coca-Cola and I'm going to put the cocaine back in."
Yeah, and it erupts The tweet just erupts.
And people
God
went,
dang, settle
that
down.
thing must be up to over 1 million retweets now. And people went
Speaking
freaking
of
crazy on that.
speaking of Elon Musk, I got to tell you guys a story before we sign off. Do I have time?
Yeah, you got time.
So I'm watching SpaceX on YouTube the other night, right? And it was an interview with Elon Musk, and in the corner they had a QR code, and over on the sidebar they had a program where if you send them your Bitcoin, they will double that and send it back. This is from SpaceX. This is from
Okay.
Elon Musk himself. So I checked it out, and it was all legit. It wasn't a scam because it's it's under SpaceX name, and so I said, well, I just want to do a little bit and double my money and claim myself to be the market king. So
Right.
I looked around and I found a trader to join called Gemini, right?
Okay.
They sell Bitcoin and they trade all kinds of cryptocurrency. So I scroll down and I join up and I scroll down and I buy Dogecoin, right? Because this was a joke meme
Right.
that Elon Musk sent through the ceiling. It was just a joke, but it became a real thing. Dogecoin became cryptocurrency. So I scrolled down there and I couldn't only buy one or two. I had to buy $50 worth.
Okay.
And I wasn't going to do it, but I did.
Just
So
to see how it went.
worth huh?
Yeah. Just to see how it went.
Yeah. So I bought $50, which got me 365 Dogecoins, right? And so then I go back to the SpaceX thing and I hit the QR code and I get to the form and it says, oh, minimum amount you can send is 15,000 Bitcoin. I only have 350 Bitcoin, Dogecoin. So I said, well, it was worth a shot. It was worth a shot. I can walk away with my $50 worth of Dogecoin. That's okay because it's kind of a novelty thing, right? So I do that, and I've noticed that I've lost $20 in the market.
I got a question for you. Can you convert your Dogecoin to Ethereum?
You can, but the trade-off is you'll just be buying. Dogecoin when I bought it was like 12 cents per.
Okay.
And Bitcoin, Ethereum, all that stuff is way expensive.
Right.
I mean, I'm not sure about the price, but I mean, I could check it on the handy dandy app here.
Right. Because you can if you're using Ethereum, you might be able to use Dogecoin as well. You should go to OpenSea and try putting it doing an NFTI in there.
Oh, I just made $2, by the way. Thank you very much.
All right, sorry, an NFT. Doing an NFT. Get digitalize something.
Oh man.
Digitalize something and send it and do a non-fungible token. Buy a non-fungible token.
That's a good way to lose money. It'll cost you more to produce it than you will sell it for. Ether is selling for $2,147 US.
Oh,
yeah.
For one unit.
Bitcoin is 29,000.
Oh wow.
Youch. Yeah, the market's insane, but it's dropping. Good old Dogecoin is
how much did you say Ethereum was?
It is 2,155.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys can even see that.
No, it's pretty white. There, you turn it sideways, it kind of gives us there it is. I can see it now. Oh wow. There it is. Wow.
My camera just flipped me off.
I am going to look into NFTs. I'm doing a little experiment with an NFT, and we're going to see how it goes. Because we've got some unique content that we're looking at doing for one of our clients. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you posted on that one.
Yeah, I don't those NFTs, I don't see a future in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If it was a singular piece of art that had a digital signature that could prove that you're the one that owns it, I understand that. But if they're making copies of this stuff, like a limited run of 5,000 copies, well, they're all the same. It doesn't matter who's got the earliest serial number, does it?
No, I don't think so. I don't
Yeah.
think so. Um, so let's sort of wrap up tonight and sum up what we talked about tonight. So we did talk about those things that could be fixed within the music industry, and some of the problems with royalties and the way royalties are collected for artists. And like I said, we ran into the same thing with an artist that just joined us on our website. As for the same reason, getting their streaming revenue from CD Baby, which has been problematic. I've even run into issues with DistroKid lately, in the sense that they're giving me analytics for an artist that has the same name as one of my artists, but it's not one of my artists.
Right. Well, that's nuts.
No, and the artists that I do have with the same name, they're not sending me their analytics. So
really?
and I've sent DistroKid and Spotify both emails several times now, and I keep getting the runaround, like, well, that's not our problem, it's yours to fix, blah blah blah. And doesn't matter who you use to upload your music, there's still going to be these mix-ups, right? I said, well, the mix-up's not mine. I know who my artist is, but you obviously haven't figured it out yet. And you asked me for everything but my underwear size when I upload music for the artist. So I don't understand why
they're totally lost. They're totally lost in administrative bullshit. And I just posted 2 links to some really, really valuable information for independent artists. And one is Hypebot, the other one is Digital Music News. But they've got some great articles on tools that you can use to promote your music and monetize your efforts.
Well, I have to tell you, I predict that in the next 6 months, we are going to experience at least a 500% growth on our website, based on what's happening right now. I'm getting emails now daily from artists saying, hey, I'm interested in uploading my music to your website. How does that work? How are you going to remunerate me? All that other good stuff. The cool thing about it is it doesn't cost them anything to join, right? All they got to have is, and why I still want the music coming through me is the same reason that you want the music coming through you when you select it for your shows. You're not going to put just anything up there. Right. And I want to be known for, putting quality music on our website so that when we go to selling, subscriptions, and we are going to go there eventually, we'll sell subscriptions. But right now people can download a song, 1 track for $1.
I just downloaded a whole album for $10.
You did. You said it was a seamless service.
Yeah, it's perfect. So yeah, your model of how music should be distributed is just about perfect, and I think it's the way the industry should go, with a focus on the artist making most of the revenue. And I hope it blows up for you. I hope that you get so busy that you can't do this anymore.
Well, if I get so busy to do that, I'm going to need an A&R guy.
Yeah.
That I can pay.
Let me look through my Rolodex.
that I can pay. I know I'm thinking of you. I'm thinking you'd be a perfect guy to scout people as we look at who we're going to upload to the site. And I'm going to eventually have to hire some staff to do this because I won't be able to keep up to it.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
I hope it does what it should do, and no longer will the artist have to put on the business hat, you know what I'm saying, and sign their rights away. Then that's perfect.
And that's the beauty of what we're doing. What we're doing is keeping all the artists independent. They're fully independent. They can come and go as they please. They don't have to sign a contract to join. And that's, and the artists that have come to me that were on major record labels see the value in that. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
They maintain full creative value.
There's a thing called, what's it called? When you buy a house and you fix it up yourself,
You
God,
bet.
is it elbow equity grease?
A
Grease
DIY?
elbow. What?
A DIY?
I forget what it's called, but that's what you get paid for when you're a DIY artist or an independent artist. Is you need to get paid for the time that you put in producing the product.
Yeah, and I think we'll get there. I mean, and what people are seeing now, the value of what we're doing, and I think this is the way that it should be done in other places as well. I'm challenging everybody else's business model to take a look at that. But when we start selling subscriptions, 75% of what we get in subscription revenue is going to go back as a base salary to the artists that are publishing on our site.
Thank you, Rich. I just
Sweat
now thought of
equity.
that when I typed it in.
Sweat equity. Thanks, Rich. Man,
Yeah.
we're going to keep you in
Elbow.
mind, Rich. We're going to keep you in mind, buddy. You just stay, you stay right where you are. I sent you some music today, by the way, Rich, to your, Rock the Range. Rich does radio as well, Bob.
Uh-huh.
And he's in Alberta, I believe, and in the Calgary vicinity. So
awesome.
Yeah, he's a good guy to talk. I think he's a good guy to talk radio. I don't know how long he's been doing it, but and I know Rich does his own music as well. And I'm going to send you some stuff to listen to, and I've got some tracks to send you this week. I got some tracks to send you this week as well. All right. So we talked about that, those things that would be fixed. We also talked about the Canadian and American arms of the Independent Music Association. And we don't really believe that they're there for you.
If they're asking you for money, Groucho Marx said it the best. I wouldn't belong to a club that would have me for a member.
Yeah, that's an interesting comment, and then maybe that's a good one to close with tonight. Having said that, I'm Kenny from Indie Tunes Records, and you are.
I'm who am I this week? Been over, Rich.
Let me see. I'm gonna flip it over there. You're
been over, bitch.
Been over,
with
bitch.
Gojira Radio.
All right, that's it for us this week. Have a great week, everybody.